It's tax time, so what does that mean? As a business, what do you need to do at tax time? The first instinct is to buy something to save on tax, but that might not be the best idea. Tax time also unfortunately brings with it a lot of dodgy emails and ATO scams aimed at ripping you off. So let's explore these timely business manners with Kat Paz on Taking Care of Business. Good morning, Kat. How are you today?
Good, how are you? That is an awesome intro. Love it. I was about to do the disco dance.
Yay! All right, so just to start things off, what does tax time mean for small businesses?
You know, it's one of those times. I think it starts when the federal budget is done. So that's normally on the first Tuesday of each May, sorry.
Yeah.
Interest rates change on the first Tuesday of each month. And after that, there's all this, you see it in the TV, the news, the ads about save tax, it's tax time. And the main thing people think they have to do is buy something. It's more about strategic buying first. And for me, I think, cash is king. It's like customers king, cash is king. So yes, don't go out there and buy something that you don't need just because you want to save on tax. Tax is final. The cash flow effects are ongoing.
Yeah. So what can people do to ensure they aren't putting themselves in a bad financial situation?
That's an awesome question, actually. So I think people need to be very strategic. Don't just go out there because you feel you need to buy one. Look at your numbers. That's why we pay for accounting software. And just avoid the rigmarole of what everyone's saying you should do. Oh, it's 2 for 1 or whatever, or buy now, 30 June run out, whatever it is, all these things. Really look at the numbers. And I'll give you a quick example. So you buy a piece of equipment, it's worth, say, $20,000, which is great. Under the new rules, you can claim that fully as a deduction for tax. So essentially, you're saving like $5,700 on tax by buying that. And then if you're registered for GST, and depending on what entity you're registered as, you can claim the GST. Awesome. But, that's where it ends. And it's very short term. And I haven't heard the ka-ching sound of cash. I like that sound, ka-ching. So I haven't heard that sound. But you know what actually you do when you do that? Most people, they borrow to buy this piece of equipment. And then next you've got repayments to think of for 5 years. And on a $20,000 loan of, let's say, $500 a month for the next 5 years, that's like a ball and chain. And let's not forget insurance. And God forbid it's a lemon and you're repairing it 24/7. And some people also end up having to employ someone just to run this piece of equipment. So think of the ongoing costs, so to speak, because that's the actual sad ka-ching. That's money flowing out, like draining out of your business by simply thinking buying the equipment today will save you tax, which won't necessarily come back to you as cold hard cash either.
So it's all about looking at the big picture, the long term, that sort of thing?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
All right. So I guess tax time also brings scams and dodgy emails. What can people do to be a bit more vigilant about this sort of thing?
Well, I think maybe we can go back and talk about what can happen when you're subject to those scams. So, they can, if you respond to them, they can access your bank accounts. They can take out loans on your behalf and they can lodge false returns. And the main ones I see are emails and phone calls. Maybe let's start with emails. With the emails, they do come and they do smell dodgy. If the logo doesn't look like the current ATO logo, also just hover your mouse on the name. Usually the name says, say, ATO debt collection, but hover your mouse on the name. And that's always that's a basic thing you do with junk emails, just to see, does that email resonate with an ATO email? And a lot of the times it's like, I don't know, scatty person 263. It's such an obvious email.
Yeah.
What to do with a dodgy email is, I'll tell you the do nots. Do not click on any link, number one. Do not open the attachments. very, very important. Some people think, oh, nothing happened, but they're viruses. They're loosely known as bombs, as in they will sit in your computer and will only act when you do something that it wants you to do, like log into your internet banking or something like that. And then it will watch what you're doing. So do not open attachments. Do not reply to the sender. I know you want to give them a good serve. They probably won't get it. And do not forward it to anyone else. Even if you have an accountant, don't forward that email. I've got a mail monitor and it will chew that up like yesterday's breakfast. It won't get to my inbox to infect mine. So, but do take a screenshot and do delete it once you've done it. And the only do in terms of forwarding is there's an email that the ATO allows you to forward emails to. And it's quite simple. It's called report email fraud at ato.gov.au. So I'll have that ready in the notes as well for people to look at. And that's where you forward the email to. You won't get a response, but it's good to report how sophisticated these schemes are getting.
Yes. And what about, I guess, dodgy phone calls that people may get?
Yes. A few people have gotten them in my client base, and it's along the lines of someone threatening to take you to jail.
It's a bit extreme. Come on.
It's extreme. I've got the voicemail. It's hilarious. But for the poor client hearing this, over and over again, it almost becomes like a reality that to him, he actually said, you know what, Kat, I really think this is real. And I was like, snap out of it. Snap out of it. It's not. It's so not. But they will also... so they'll threaten to take you to jail, call the cops, and they actually say, we're calling the cops now. Ha, ha, ha. And they'll ask you to pay money as well. Or receive a refund. Bizarre. I've also had clients being asked to pay using, say, iTunes vouchers or store gift cards, and provide personal information, like their TFN, date of birth. That stuff is very crucial. So please don't do it. And also pay into a personal bank account. The ATO will never give bank details over the phone.
Oh, goodness. The phone's ringing.
Interesting. Yeah, so they would never give details over the phone, and they will never give information they won't ask you to pay over the phone either, or through the email. If you see payment details and stuff like that, they don't operate like that, and they do it purposefully so you recognize that this is not how they operate. Do not download. They have been directed to download files from the internet. That is a total no. As scary as it sounds, take a breather and just say to them, look, thanks so much. I'm not in a position right now to pay you. How about I call back later? And there's other numbers you can call, which I'll provide as well.
Right. Yeah. So that's all the questions I have for you. I know you have a heap of notes on your little notebook there. So is there anything else you would like to talk about in relation to tax time and small businesses? Yeah,
look, it is quite stressful when people get these calls and these emails, and the world is getting busy, and the scammers understand that, unfortunately. So they know our little weaknesses, because we just want to focus on things. And then when you're threatened with the tax office, that's the last thing a lot of people want to think about. I would definitely encourage people to just engage more. I'll put more notes on where to go, but I'll give the numbers that you can actually call as well. So, but it will start with the payment, actually. Make sure, So make sure you have an official letter from the ATO with your payment details, so actual physical paper. If you don't receive paper, like if you've got like a MyGov account, that's probably where your notices of assessment are. If you're in doubt, call the ATO. So you can call them, you can actually pay online, and it's called Government Easy Pay.
Yeah.
And that's 1300 898 098. You can pay using BPay. That will track the payment as well. Whenever you make payments on your internet banking, download a copy of that receipt. Don't leave it to the banks to keep it for you. Take responsibility. And anytime you're stuck, and if you have an accountant, call them. Yeah. Call them and tell them what's going on, and they will confirm with you whether or not that's right. So always just end the call quickly. Do not engage with these people. It's not worth your time. If anything, you'll end up angrier. And with tax time, if you do need to buy equipment, the main questions are what, where, when? Is it important? Do you need it? And how are you going to use it? How are you going to pay for it? You know, plan for these things to ensure that you're not left with a 5-year chain across your neck, pretty much. That's what it feels like.
Goodness me. All right. Thank you so much, Kat, for your time this morning. And I'm sure you all have had quite a bit of information there to take in. So I believe you guys have a Facebook page.
Yes, we do. It's called Taking Care of Business with the MAG on RTR FM 92.1. You can send your questions about business and any question really. Like we always say, no question is a stupid question. You might think it is a stupid question, but it's worth asking. And yeah, just to let us know what you reckon and your experiences with this, because this is actually rife. The scamming is really rife at the moment.